Alright, hello there. This is Moth for Fire Mage specific tips for the Blackwater Behemoth fight. This won't be a general guide for the boss, this is just going to be specific Fire Mage tips. So at the very opening rotation, you're going to be doing it on the boss. You're ignoring the first pufferfish, as your ignite will not get any time to tick on it. So you can let the other DPS kill that, and you'll be getting maximum DPS on the boss. This is the same for your opening cooldowns. However, some groups like to time warp after the pufferfish is dead. If this is the case, you should save your CDs for the time warp pop, not at the very start of the fight. You'll still want to pre-pop, and you'll still want to channel Font of Power before the boss starts, even if your time warp is coming after the pufferfish. The reason for this is that you'll only be getting one set of cooldowns per platform, so you don't need to rush them out, you can use them whenever it's best. And time warp only comes about 10 seconds after the pull if you're doing it after the pufferfish. You're not really missing out. You'll want to be pre-potting for the fight, and potting on the second platform when your cooldowns are back up. For the shock pulse, you'll be fireballing until you're out of range, and then you'll want to be scorching and swimming forward constantly. This is the least damage lost. You would be able to use blinks, but you need to make sure that you have 2 blinks up for when you're going to collect the pufferfish buff. You'll have no downtime on spells if you have 2 blinks up, one to go in and take the pufferfish buff, and one to blink back out. This not only increases your damage, but helps the damage reduction on the AoE that the Behemoth is doing to your group. Should be a fairly self-explanatory tip for Mythic, but if you get Piercing Barb, you swim up and block, unless your group has specified otherwise, as some say that the first platform, you line up and soak it normally. If you don't have block, you just have to take one for the team and die. Positioning and mobility are quite an important part of this fight, so you want to be making good use of your Scorch casts, especially during the execute window. You can use them to get in blink range for the pufferfish buff, and you can just use them to get away from your teammates so that you're not stacked. One of the biggest things for improving your pass or really min-maxing the DPS once you've got everything else down is your ability to not take a pufferfish and still survive for a long amount of time. It's important to work out how much health you've currently got and how often the Toxic Spine is going to come in to see if you can avoid taking a pufferfish buff. Although we're not losing much damage taking the pufferfish buff, as we have 2 blinks to immediately go in and back out, we don't actually need to take it, as Shock Pulse deals very minimal damage from the range that we're casting, and Toxic Spine can be completely removed by Ice Block. This is every Fire Mage specific tip I can think of for Blackwater Behemoth. If you have any more, feel free to comment it. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video.